Well, you know the old saying, it's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. And that somebody was our own Mark Wildman, who recently attended a manure management field day and tells us how Georgia dairy and other livestock producers got an opportunity to learn how to better manage waste on their farms.
It is not the most glamorous side of farming, but for many livestock producers, managing waste on their farms is a critical part of their farming operation. Here at UGA's Research Dairy in Tifton, participants gathered around the lagoons to learn how to better manage animal waste and use it to enhance their farms.
Lagoons are used by most dairy and swine producers here as a means of storing waste until they can put them on the land there for growing crops. In that process, you'll have solids that separate out. So how do you separate those? Get them mixed back in so you can get a homogeneous material then to apply on the land, because it does provide a lot of nutrients that the plants can use instead of buying a commercial fertilizer.
One way to do that is to use one of these remote control boats. And a couple of different companies had their boats on display.
They're actually floating pumps, and what the inventors have done, and there's about a dozen of these around the US and Canada being built right now, is they've put a manure pump that can put out 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 gallons a minute on a floating pontoon with nozzles pointing downward, and it's designed to stir up, to mix, to agitate the solids. Really necessary in some of our larger lagoons, the 10 million, the 15 million gallon large lagoons, but even in a much smaller lagoon like this, it's proving its worth at really getting those solids off of the bottom.
The next step attendees got to see is how the lagoon water is used. Dairy farms have an opportunity to use the water on their crops, and this demonstration showed how a properly prepared field can retain the water so it will be better utilized as fertilizer.
We've got 3 tillage practices that we're looking at out in the field that we've already done prior to spreading. One, basically we didn't do anything. The second, we used a harrow to work up the ground, and then the third one we used a chisel plow to rip up the ground.
The third part of the field day had to do with how to contain a spill.
And unfortunately, no matter what your size farm is, there's a chance for an accident. If I'm hauling manure, somebody else may cross the center line. I may have to react, tip a tanker over. I may have a coupling come loose on a hard hose or an irrigation system.
Spills are very rare, but if one happens, it is good to know how to quickly deal with the runoff.
How do you block off a culvert or a ditch field driveway? How do you dam things up? How do you vacuum them out? We also have a local fire department coming in showing a couple of different ways to clean that manure off of the vegetation, off of the soil, so that we don't cause an erosion or another problem as well.
The last thing we want to do is contaminate groundwater, drinking water, stream, or anything there, or a neighbor's property. We want to clean that up as quick as we can and get those nutrients back where we intended them to go to start out with.
It may not be the most pleasant topic to discuss, but one that is very important to many farmers around the state. Reporting from Tifton, I'm Mark Wildman for the Georgia Farm Monitor.